every one of you. I will have empty tables at the front. Don't be shy. It helps when we speak to people, not tables. Please, back rows, come forward. Yeah, my man. Okay. Cool. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here, choosing us instead of changing your tires or finishing up your winter things to end the year. We really appreciate it. Welcome to the product meetup number 12. Let's have a round of applause. Today we have two fantastic speakers, Sigita and Petris. So really excited to hear what they say. I really like the stories of, real life stories of how to do and how to not to do. And AI is a hyped theme, so let's hear what Petris has to say. Also, huge thanks for Test Develops for giving us a venue, giving some snacks, organizing this. And also, this is their new office, so there will be a possibility to join for the guided tour, so we can see how these guys are working, what they do. So yeah, don't miss out. It will be on our first break. But yeah, let's go forward. Why we are doing this? Basically, we want to have a community that talks, that we can whine about, that we can say, hey, I have this problem, and somebody who actually can solve it. So this is why we created this event, and hopefully that, yes, actually it becomes bigger and bigger every time. So yeah, hopefully one day there will be a huge venue with hundreds of people. Yes, so Cheetah Labs, basically what we do. First of all, our design broke. Nice to know. But yeah, basically we do mobile apps and design. We promise we do it better. But yeah, we do it for 8 years. We did around 80 different apps. So if you need something apps related, please come to us. We will help. We still are looking for a sales manager and junior mobile developer. If that's applicable to you, please scan the code and let's chat. Yes, a bit of advertisement. Basically, we did a research of 4,000 different fintech apps in the Baltics and Scandinavia region, all over Europe. We compared, it's like 67 slides with all kinds of different statistics about the colors, how it's impacted the features, how it affects the ratings. So a lot of interesting stuff. Please scan the QR code and we will send it to you. No problem. Also, if you want to compare your app or you want to learn more, write us up and we will we would be happy to explain how we came with these numbers, but all the research is there, so you can go to Google Looker, you can see all the data, statistics, what we did. So if we have mistakes, you can find it there. And yeah, basically everything is there. Yeah, I'm wrapping up. Now let's welcome to the stage Sigita with her presentation about building a financial institution. What? Yeah.
Okay, and it's working, yes. Yes. Hey, hey. Happy to be here. Happy that you are here. I will fight my urge to speak fast because you all are standing. So I have this feeling that you are waiting. But I will assume that those are like just standing ovations maybe. So let's proceed. Yeah, so hey, from what I have seen in these presentations, one slide should be about me and my career so far. So you should read from bottom to top. Otherwise, it will be very interesting story, and maybe I will not be here, or maybe it will be even more interesting story if I will end up as a telemarketing. No, I started as a telemarketing in bank. Why so? Because the money came from bank at that point. That was all that I need to know, and built my career very gradually up from that point. And during the presentation and during maybe what I want to share with you, my career also shows one of my virtues. So big goals, small steps. So you set high goals, but you are moving with small and very purpose steps towards that. I have been working in Citadel Bank, in Blue Orange Bank, and at some point I migrate to the interesting side of the finance, so the fintechs, and I have been working with Mintos for almost 4 years during its aggressive growth phase. And after Mintos, I was invited to join a new company as a CEO and to lead the investment platform, Nectaro. Yeah, and I have been doing that for 2 years already. Fun fact, tomorrow is Nectaro's birthday, so 1 year online tomorrow. Yeah, feel free to share your congratulations in your social media. But what is Nectaro? Nectaro is investment platform built for millennials, for Gen Z, to support their desire for passive income, their desire for less hustle, their desire for financial independence. We obtained and we maintaining a license issued by Latvijas Banka. It is IBF license, investment brokerage firm, which is quite heavy license. I will say it is not far from bank license. There will be a separate story about obtaining the license, but yeah, so we work very closely with Latvijas Banka. Latvijas Banka is our regulator, because Latvijas Banka is now working together, will obtain the FKTK. Also, Nectaro is part of very huge group of companies. The Nino is 20 years old group of companies where are including travel products, intertech products, and also financial products. One of the headquarters is in Latvia, but originally the group of companies was created 20 years ago in San Francisco. So Nectaro is one of the youngest company within the group. And also what maybe is also one of these unique points for ourselves, that we were able and very purposely created our team with the people who had already experience in other licensed platforms. So basically gathered from the best platforms, the local platforms that we knew, like one from each platform, and build new platforms with all that we have learned, and with trying not to repeat all the maybe mistakes or challenges that we have seen before in our previous jobs. What exactly a platform does? It's a very interesting business model. So platform as platforms usually has two sides. On one side, there are loans issued by lending companies, and those loans are listed on Nectaro. Nectaro has the availability and the purpose to create financial instruments together with NASDAQ. We are giving ISIN number and creating financial instruments, and then we offer those financial instruments for the investors to invest in. The investors are retail customers from Europe, from Latvia, Germany, different countries. An average investment is around 6,000. So it's basically very retailish product, and we offer to that end investor the opportunity to invest in licensed company with double-digit return per year. And that is very unique product, and I have this feeling that we are doing something very interesting. The product itself, asset-backed security, is nothing new. It has been there for 100 years, but it usually was available only for institutional investors, only for huge investors, and we are working towards, as all fintechs, to make the financial services more available for everyone. And this is how this looks on the platform. So there is ISIN, there is country, interest rate, term, and the call for action. So working for 1 year, currently we have funded more than 7 million euros. We have more than 5,000 registered users. Most of them, 68%, coming from Germany. And Latvia is second our largest market. We have 3 countries and 2 products available. But what was interesting, what I want to maybe share from this journey with building the Nectaro, and maybe what should be accounted when you build a financial institution. The first, and I think one of the most important questions, will be license. So if you're thinking about building anything related to the financials, you should be asking yourself, do I need to have a license? And do I need to have a license in the country that I am now, where will be my team, where will be headquarters or office? And do I need a license in the countries when I will be offering my services, or where the customers will be from? This is a very important question, but it's not a question about the efficiency, about the compliance. This is basically law-based request. And if you are performing some of the financial services without license in the places that you are mandatory to have the license, it can be even criminal law applicable. So this is a very serious question to understand before you're open any financial institutions. There are still a lot of things that you can do in finance without the license, but you just need to be aware and need to understand it. If you speak about Bank of Latvia, so they are promoting themselves, and I do agree with that they have been very open for the last few years. They're open to cooperation, they're open to communication. They have this pre-licensing stage when you can call them, meet them, share your business idea, and they will help you to understand, do you need the license, what license do you have? And they even have this sandbox approach that you can start to work with them towards the license, but they are already allowing you to start doing your business. So Latvia's Bank is very forward going for the last few years. Yes, they haven't been before, but they are now. If you or your partners are considering Latvia as the country for financial institutions, especially maybe, for example, crypto, that they have special sandbox for that, and feel free to reach out. They're not supporting this presentation anyway. It's just my experience and also what they are sharing. If you think about the license, you also need to understand what maybe was not a surprise, but maybe it was a surprise. So after receiving the license, you're so focused on receiving the licensing. For us, it was 7 months. But usually for license like ours, it is usually even 6 to 12 months. And when the license is received, you have this huge feeling of something great achieved, and you have this feeling that, okay, now we will do the business. Now all the team can relax with the compliance, relax with all the paperwork. Now we will focus on the business. No, maintaining license requests a lot of work, a lot of people involved, a lot of reporting, and that is also something to consider when you're thinking about the licensing, where and why and do you need it. So not only how fast and how costly is to receive the license, but also the maintaining, which in some cases you will be surprised what it includes. It also includes very detailed corporate governance, and again, if you will be regulated by someone, even it maybe not be like central bank in countries, it can be, I don't know, any other institution. For financial institutions, there are often capital requirements, because if you are taking other people, so you're operating with other people's money, there can be some capital requirements which you also need to take in consideration. And especially it might affect your availability to attract external funding, because you need to have some money just to lie in your accounts just for safeguards, and that is requested from the regulatory. And so that you also should take in consideration when attracting the funding for a financial institution. Interesting thing about you are like, not you, but me. I have been reading books about how to build the fintechs, how to build the startups, all about the MVP, how it works, how you should build something very simple but working, then gather the feedback and then improve it, and this is how you build a company. So it doesn't really work with financial institutions, especially with the regulated ones, because before you're doing something, before we even start to work with the developers and with the front and with all how our platform will be perceived, we need to write everything down to the details in procedures and submit those procedures with central bank. And bank read the procedures and they add additional questions. They told that, for example, in this process you need to add that and that. In this process you need to add that and that. You need to have alarm system, you need to have that. So basically we ended up, before even building the company, we ended up with 86 procedures on how our company will work without any company, without any app, any homepage, nothing. We have bought the domain, Nectaro EU, and we have 86 documents on how this all will look in like 7 months. And that is crazy. So there is no MVP approach. You cannot like test and improve, because you need, for the licensing and for the regulatory, you need to show that you are completely aware of all the details, how your company will be working before you allow to make the company. And that is huge challenge, especially if you have been raised on the fintech approach and on the MVP approach. The picture probably is not my best, but in that winter where we went through all the licensing process, I went to the Theatri, Jaunas Rīgas Theatris, and there was, before even everything started on the screen, there was this writing, visam jānotiek lēnām un nepareizi, which basically means that everything should happen slowly and incorrectly. And I sat there and I'm just like, oh, okay, like the universe is trying to tell me something, most likely, and quite obvious what. And yeah, about the deadlines, about the planning. So for the financial institution, because of all the improvements, because of all the corporate governance, the challenge was always with the deadlines and the planning, in my experience. So when I joined the company in like first week, someone introduced me to the beneficial owner of the group, Alex. He was in Riga and he met me and he asked, so Sigita, nice, you are here to obtain the license to launch a new company. So how fast do you think we can obtain the license? And from what I knew at that point, and I didn't know anything, I told, well, 3 weeks. It took us 7 months. So first of all, it's not really like process fault, it was my fault, so don't promise anything in your first 90 days when working. But also from what I'm hearing in the market, Indexo Bank, all other platforms, everything that is regulated usually gets delayed. I don't try to say that don't plan or add like half a year for everything that you plan. Still plan the North Star, still plan the big higher goals, but be aware and don't put a lot of money on that things will happen in time. For example, one thing that we agreed something, we had discussion and we agreed on something, Latvijas Banka, and we went there and forward and back, and they were working through nights. We had discussions like late evenings, like 11 evening, we changed the emails and we agreed. So they said, yes, it's working, we're happy, we're working. It's like, okay, then I'm doing that tomorrow. No. We agreed. Now we need to go to the committee. Committee will be next week. To have your case in the committee, you need to submit it like 2 days ago. And for submission, we need board decision and we need the application form filled in to have that. So yeah, so we lost 2 weeks. And again, that was the thing I didn't consider. I think that if all parties agree, we move forward. But no, it is more complicated than that. Also, yeah, of course, from building the financial institution, a lot of will be taken by the technological infrastructure. We build everything ourselves, and we have already rebuilt everything ourselves for a second time. And in building everything, what also learned the hard way, to be very cautious and very think through every compromise that you are making. Because sometimes you have these situations like, hey, this is too hard to implement. We can cut this implementation time like for 3 days. You will have your feature tomorrow. And then somewhere in the future, we will add what it is missing. And you say, yes, it takes your time to make this decision like 3 minutes. And what I know now, you will definitely remember that moment, definitely will remember that moment. You will remember that moment for hours, that you will be fixing, that you will be missing that feature. So be very aware of every compromise that you are making from the beginning plan for the platform or project itself, for the regulatory perspectives, and not to lose your vision, especially if you're getting back to this MVP thing, and that everything that you change, it is very hard to do. Also, when building the system, build the system that is capable of creating and supporting you with the reports. For financial institutions, even if you are regulated or not, the reporting will be something that you are spending a lot of time, I guarantee you. And transparency, also system should be very transparent and trackable to understand who and what did when. And also about the transparency, if we speak about the team and lessons from the team, so transparency, I would say, is the transparency and trust within the team is one of the main goals and is super important because the team and colleagues should be able to tell each other and the team lead and the leader that they have made mistake, because every mistake that is not managed properly will show you bigger issues in the future. So this is super crucially for every financial institution, for every business, but especially for financial institutions. You cannot hide anything. You cannot delete any row in the Excel, because every time it will play you in the future. Also, what we have agreed, taking into account our small team and our license and our process, that we are, well, I am not protecting team from anything, from any bad news, from any risks that occurs, from any fears from the future. We are sharing everything. We are working as a team, and because there is this view that you as a leader, you're protecting your team for them to be able to create and work in this super green grass and shiny skies and things like that. We are working as a team, and if anything occurs which can cause us any problems, it is shared immediately, and everyone should know about that, and everything should be involved in that. And the hardest part maybe for me, which is very important, is the discipline. So again, maybe farther from startup, relaxed environment, we still have all of those things, but what is related to the work, you should implement the culture of discipline. And if we speak about high level of professionals, there is only one way how you can do it, in my opinion. It is by leading by example. So everything what you do for more than 2 times, it is already culture. If you are late for meeting 2, 3 times, it's already culture. So everything can be late for the meeting. If you want for everyone to be on the time, in my opinion, I cannot say for them, please be at 9 and I will arrive, then we will start. If I want team to be on time, then I should be on time every time. And that applies to all the situations. So leading by example, because in my opinion, is the only way how you can lead, especially high-performing teams. And the second is culture of discipline. When if something is promised, if something is agreed, it should be delivered. And if you fail more than 2 times, this is the culture. This is the new culture now. And overall, it might seem that building financial institution is hard. It is. It is. But then if you are doing it, you should have, my suggestion to you, you should build something great, something very interesting, to be able after a very hectic and long day to go to the dinners, to bar and meet your friends' friends, and he or she or they are asking what you do. And you are happy at that moment, you forgot all the things that happened during the day, and you are happy and you start to smile because you are building something very interesting, you are working on something very interesting, and I think that you mandatory should have this feeling, otherwise it's not worth it. And that's all for me, and there is Nectaro and Nectaro Telegram chat. Thanks.
Do we have any questions? Yes, please.
Thanks for the presentation. I have a question regarding this licensing and all the 86 procedures. Did you handle it all in-house, or you hired some expert consultant that did it for you, or at least consulted and helped them?
Yeah, we did hire it. We have 2 of them. One which were more expensive and more to complex things as a prospectus, because you needed to create prospectus. Prospectus is different 86-page long documents in every investment opportunity. And we have also other consultants that were working mostly with KYC documents. So yes, 2 of them.
And was it worth it? Was it worth it, or after all this procedure you would consider to learn by doing by yourself?
It was worth it, but because the amount is huge. So for example, if you hire legal office, they have this few people working on your case. So there are maybe juniors who are doing the writing. Then there are some seniors who are doing reviewing and improving the documents. So there are a bunch of people working on your case. It could be done in-house, but then I need to hire like 2 or 3 lawyers for that.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, we have one more.
Thank you for your presentation. 2 questions. First, why you chose this country? Latvia and Germany, it's totally different country. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And the second question about how you promote your solution, because I know it's hard for financial solution, especially B2C solution.
Mm-hmm. So we are licensed in Latvia because that is the right thing. We have headquarters here. I am here. The whole team is here. So there is not a lot of arguments, a lot of discussions where we are receiving the license. We are here. Why Germany? Because somehow historically Germans really like to invest in Latvian platforms. 2 steps back. There is P2P market in Europe. There is the large alternative investment market in Europe where people can invest in crowdfunding and also in platforms, P2P platforms like ours. And Latvia has more than 50 market share from whole Europe. And in Latvia, there are very strong this business environment for platforms. There are few Mintos, for in general, being the largest in Europe. So people from Germany have been naturally investing in Mintos and other platforms for years. And they just heard about Nectaro, so new kid on the block, we will explore, and they naturally are coming to us even without any additional efforts. How we are doing our marketing and targeting? So we work a lot with bloggers. So the investment culture for crypto and also for P2P is very community based. So basically there are communities that are communicating between themselves. Where did you invest? What are the rates? What is happening? So you need to get closer to those communities. Usually they are financial bloggers, influencers. That is our marketing strategy. And also for platforms like ours, refer a friend works good. So people referring the platform, it didn't at the beginning, but in starting now, as we are not gathering, but we are having already this trust from the investors.
Okay, great. We have, yes, one more.
Okay, continuing previous question. At the beginning, you said a couple of words about why platform was built and for whom it was built. But what is your unique selling proposition in comparison to competitors, and why you are better than Mintos or Twino, if there is something like that?
Yeah. What we are selling, so we are already built after all the market stabilization. So we have very friendly and user experience based platform, and that is something that we also hear from our investors. We have this group that makes us more trustworthy, and we also, especially for the first year, are higher on the higher end of the interest rate proposition. So for the average investor, if they ask why they invest in Nectaro for the first year, most likely it will be user experience and higher interest rates. If we speak about the investors and this competitiveness, currently it is quite a red ocean, especially from the Latvia. But I think that investors just can benefit from that a lot, because from every competition, the end user is benefiting because they can choose the best suit for them. Investors are spoiled because they are like, if the button is not on the left side but on the right side, they will leave this platform. It's not working for them. So we are fighting, not like going extra mile. In these circumstances, it's enough to go extra step, and you already can obtain your investor. So it's all about friendliness, usability, also the interest rate. But yeah, investors can currently shift between the platforms, and they are just picking what is right for them for different perspectives.
All right, great. I think we have time for one more. Anyone? All right. Then huge thanks. Let's give a round of applause.